Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. In this episode, we'll be catching up with Jack and Liam. There'll be a little bit of nerd news, and there'll be some culture swap, in which we'll be discussing the first 3 episodes of Making a Murderer, currently available on Netflix.
How exciting.
I'm excited, Jack, but first it's time for my favourite section, catching up with Jack and Liam. So how are you, Jack?
I'm pretty good, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm just dandy, thank you very much. I finally have a working shower again.
Yeah, they came around and fixed it?
Yeah, so to give you a little shower update from the last episode, to those devoted listeners out there, we appreciate you and we love you. They came, they fixed the shower eventually. I did have to spend a week showering at the gym where old men were looking at my penis on a regular basis.
A little bit like a homeless gentleman, really.
Yeah, to some extent, I guess. So that was a thing that I had to deal with, but I mean, I've got nothing to be ashamed of. So I think if anything, they were kind of like eyeing it up with, I don't want to say jealousy, but maybe envy.
Yeah?
Maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't like to, try and imagine the things that they were thinking.
Well, did you try and catch a glimpse of any of them?
Oh no, that's not something that I felt like I needed to see.
Fair enough.
I mean, we had no Zac Efrons in the gym, so why would I try and catch a peek? I have a point. So yeah, they came, they fixed it. Now, you can't see this, but I'm using sort of air quotations over fixed it. Because
oh god, really?
When I then had a shower, the drain was blocked or something. So I've got one of those like stand-in showers, right? It's not like a bath or anything, it's like a walk-in shower.
Yep.
And the water just kind of kept rising up to about my ankles, and the shower unit itself isn't the I don't know, the most, what's the word?
Watertight?
Yeah, good word. The shower unit itself isn't the most watertight of things, so the water was finding its way out and pretty much flooding my bathroom. So I had to get them back to unplug it, and I had a little moment of crisis when they were here, when I realised that before having the shower, I'd done a little bit of manscaping. Now, I don't know if you're a manscaper, Jack.
Not massively.
No, you see, I've never really seen you in a state of undress, so it's hard to tell, but I'm a pretty hairy guy, especially when you get to, like, the downstairs area. Like, the taint is out of control. It really is. The pubic bush area, I've got more of a kind of handle on, should we say. I still don't like to get too close to the shaft or the balls or anything, because I have had instances in the past where I've maybe got a bit too carried away and, like, nicked. And I'm going to be honest, that's one of the worst feelings you could ever have.
You're the only person I know that has done this, or that has openly told everyone they've done it, I guess.
I think more people have done it, they just, they're a bit embarrassed about it for some reason.
What are you shaving with?
So, to get through
like a straight edge razor?
To get through the thicket, shall we say, I use my little beard trimmer.
Yep.
That sort of gets most of it down, but I try and keep that away from shaft and balls. And when it gets to that, like, so when I had the nick in the past, it was from using that around the balls area.
Yeah, well, that just seems like a bad idea.
Oh, it was horrible. It really hurt. It bled. It was awful. So now, when it comes to that area, I use like a little pair of like nail scissors.
Yep, that makes sense.
But it just takes a fucking age.
Just use normal scissors.
Even that, like, that's a big blade to have wielding around such a delicate area.
I use normal scissors.
Yeah, the nail scissors I feel like I have more control over.
How are you using scissors? I think you're using scissors wrong if you're worried that you might slice your penis open.
It's more the testicles I'm worried about. The penis I can move out of the way. The testicles, it's just a free-for-all once you get to that.
How I can't believe I'm asking this question, but how short are you going?
Probably about 1 inch to half an inch.
Yeah, alright, that's pretty similar to the length I aim for.
Yeah, if I could go shorter, I would, but I just don't trust myself. But it's a weird shape to try and keep that consistently around. Well, like,
what's a weird shape then?
The ball bag.
Your ball bag, or just the ball bag in general?
I think specifically mine.
What shape is it?
Well, it's like a sack, right?
Yeah.
With like a basketball in, but then also.
Sorry. Like, what?
So okay, just imagine like a sack, right?
Yeah.
Then imagine like a basketball in it.
Yeah.
And then imagine like not a tennis ball, but a bit bigger.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So
That inconsistent in size?
Yeah. There's a big droopy one, and then there's a little like tucked up one. Well, not tucked up. It's like it's descended, but not quite. They're not even, should we say?
No, they're not. Everyone's uneven to some extent, but that sounds like...
Oh, there's probably like a good half an inch in it.
That's crazy to me.
I know.
I mean, that might be normal, is the scary thing. Because then I'm the weird one.
I don't think it is, because like obviously when you see pictures and stuff that people have drawn of testicles, they tend to be quite even. I don't know if that's like the way to judge if it's normal or not.
No, that is. I always compare mine to crude drawings of penises
by teenage boys in math class. Anyway, getting back to the point, so I'd done my manscaping. I'd obviously washed it all the way, then I'd had my shower, and it was blocked, but I hadn't quite made that connection. So I got the shower guys back to do the unblocking, thinking, oh, maybe when they were fixing the shower, some debris fell into the drain, perhaps. They were professional. They didn't actually say what had caused the blockage, but I was sat in my room just thinking, what if there's just like a big pube ball blocking the drain?
And that's it. I think the mistake you made there is calling them first. Like, even if it wasn't your pubes, right? The first thing you should have done is gone to the shops, got some drain unblocker, poured it down there. If that didn't fix it, then you call them in.
Right, but what if, okay, the reason why I was having all these issues was because of something that they had done to fix the shower. I didn't want to pour drain unblocker down and potentially exacerbate the situation. What I should have done is had a shower first, checked that the drain was working, and then done the manscaping.
Yes, that's true, yeah.
But you live and learn.
You did very eagerly go into the...
Well,
like, as soon as your shower
it had been a week.
Like, trim.
It had been a week. And like I said, the taint particularly just goes out of control, and you need to jump on that pretty quickly, I think.
I just let mine flow free.
I just don't want any complications.
What do you mean complications?
Moving on.
Okay.
So what have you been up to?
I did some D&D on Saturday.
Oh, okay. How did that go?
That went pretty well.
Yeah?
Everyone seemed to enjoy it. I was the dungeon master in real life.
Of course you were. Yeah. And everyone had a good time, yeah?
Everyone had good times. Well, as far as I'm aware.
They all, what's the word? I'm blanking with words today.
You're really struggling, buddy.
Yeah. Not. They all conformed to your, rules, did they?
I still can't believe that you think I'm some sort of dictator when I do dungeon mastering.
I really do.
Why? You're going to be shocked when you eventually join this game, and you're like, Jack, I'm going to do this, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
So when I'm like, Jack, I'm going to be Carlos the Dwarf, you're going to be like, yeah, that's fine.
No, that's the one thing I won't let you be.
There we go then. So I'm not going to be shocked at all, am I?
No, you will when you're actually playing.
Right,
that's not the playing bit, Liam.
We'll see. Just a little update for our listeners. My D&D session, in case you had, the preamble to that, it didn't go too badly.
Classic Liam, jumping on the back of my point.
Yeah, it didn't go too badly. I was a wizard in the end, so I didn't get to play Carlos the Dwarf, which was a disappointment. I was a wizard called Lionel, and I feel like I got involved. And so, Jack, as a dungeon master, can you maybe just say if this sounds right or not? I think some people, when they approach the game, they try and play it like a game. Like, sometimes you can kind of see the direction that the dungeon master is trying to sort of subtly steer you in, and people just want to play the game and get it done. Other people, and I think personally this is the correct way of playing, try to embody their characters and approach the situations that are presented to them as their characters would, not as this is a game and I just want to get to the end.
Yeah, no, but the issue with what you're saying there is it's a mix of both. Like, because you're saying some people see the way the dungeon master wants something to go, but in general, like, I'm not like I assume you're talking about more like in like a specific moment. Like, if there's an encounter with enemies, you're like, the DM is expecting us to do this, and some people just do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because in general, like, the DM's got, like, the way a DM's meant to do it is they've got, like, a general plan, and they try to nudge you towards...
Exactly,
so, like, they might have written this cool story for there being a dragon in a cave, so they're going to try and nudge you to go to the cave.
Exactly. But
you're saying more finely, like, if there's, like, there's 3 goblins and a strange lever and a bag of rocks above the goblins with a string that goes to the lever.
Well, not only that, let's say the Dungeon Master is trying to nudge you towards this dragon in a cave, but your character is allergic to dragons. Your character isn't really going to be way up for doing that.
No, okay, I get what you're saying there, but if you're just, like, because it sounds more like you're just trying to derail the game.
No,
that point?
Not quite. I would say
like,
you're
trying... surely you'd have said to a guy who, if someone was going to run a game for you and you wrote a character, surely you'd say to him, my guy's allergic to dragons.
I'm not saying you just create these scenarios to derail it. So to give you a bit more context, the wizard that I was playing, I decided he had very few hit points, okay? Mm-hmm. So I decided he's going to be very much into self-preservation, and he's going to be quite cowardly. He's not going to be the sort of person that's going to charge into battle, because he'll probably die. So he approaches all scenarios in a very much, I do not want to have any fighting. If there's any fighting going on, I'd rather get away from that. So obviously in D&D, confrontations and fighting is a large part of it. So role-playing a character that is like, obviously when it happens, he does eventually get involved, but he's not going to be leading the charge, shall we say?
Yeah.
So whereas other players, for example, and this wound me up a little bit. There were 2 children there in this intro to D&D session, probably 8 and 10 years old roughly, and they were there with their dad. Now the dad, I don't think he really wanted to be there, and he was very pandering to the children, being like, well kids, your dad's a ranger. There's some tracks over there. I've got really good tracking. Do you think I should go over and maybe track those tracks? And the kids would be like, yes dad, that's a really good idea. Like, that's not role-playing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that's just playing the game as a game.
Yeah, I don't like people playing the game as a game.
No, exactly. So that was the only sort of downside to the intro session, but everything else went really well. I had a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to get invited back to do it again at some point.
And if not, Liam, maybe you can join our game.
Well, if I'm allowed, Jack.
You will be, so long as unless you just go, I'm only joining if I get to be Carlos the Dwarf, then I'll be like, it's cool, I'll find out 2 other people.
No, I mean, I'm flexible, you know, I can try
like
to...
Lionel the Mage, I was fine with him, he sounds like a good character.
Okay, well, I don't really want to play as a coward all the time, but...
No, I'm saying, so, like, you can clearly come up with good characters.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The other thing is, obviously, those that heard Carlos's backstory... Suddenly, I no longer could really do that with 2 children present at the table. So I did have to rethink a lot of what I was anticipating from D&D. So, your session, Jack. Mm-hmm. Do you prefer mastering or playing?
I really want to play. Like when I first started reading into D&D when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was always coming up with characters that I could be and trying to figure that out. But there's one other guy who might have done it, but when we first started, I was the only one around that was willing to DM.
Okay.
I like DMing, and I like coming up with those characters, but I've got a list of characters that I'm like, at some point in my life, I need to get someone else to DM so I can be these people.
Well, we are going to do a little mini session between the 2 of us, aren't we? That we're considering filming.
Yep.
And I'll be Dungeon Master in that.
You will.
So are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Once I can get my head around all the rules, I'll be more excited, but at the moment it's quite intimidating.
I mean, so one of the things, because on when we did it on Saturday, the first time we did it, we had, the proper, I'd drawn out maps with the proper squares and putting our characters on it.
Yeah.
But I hadn't had enough time on Saturday to do one of the maps properly, so I printed off one that ended up being too small.
Yeah.
So what I did was, I was like, look guys, you can play D&D without having the board, you can as long as you sort of know vaguely where people are and distances.
Yeah.
And that ended up working really well, surprisingly well.
Okay.
So, there's things and that's in the rules, they say you don't have to rely on this, 1-inch squares represent 5 foot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, there's ways around all the falling blocks we might have.
Yeah. I think so. I think we'll be okay. It's less those sort of rules and more just... The thing that always bothers me is the rules pertaining to spells and abilities and that kind of thing.
You just roll a d20, add a specific skill.
No, I get that, but
boom.
It's when we did our first session a while back, the spells felt very restrictive. You could only heal once per game or something, and that just seems
there are spells
difficult.
that have a limit on them.
Yeah, but something like healing, you'd think would be a little bit more flexible.
No, see, I had to point this out to my team on Saturday. One of them was like, I'm sure I've got a healing spell that I can just use, like an unlimited amount. And I was like, no, you definitely don't, because that wouldn't make sense. No, because the whole point is you have to have rests where you can, like,
of course,
recover your... So if you have a spell that just always heals...
Of course. So I definitely think once per encounter makes sense. Once per game is too restrictive. Because a game generally has more than one encounter.
Yeah, no. So, see, they balance it, though. Like, the issue is, we've always played first level.
Yeah.
And if you're at first level, you don't have those cool spells that are once an encounter, I can heal a guy. But then the monsters won't be as difficult either, so you shouldn't have to heal constantly.
Well, we'll see when we play it. How do you think it's going to work with just one player? Do you think it's going to go well?
Oh, it's going to be difficult for you, I think.
Why for me?
Because you're the dungeon master. It's like weird playing with one player.
Yeah, I know. I imagine your character will probably just die very quickly.
Well, that's if you make it poorly, yeah.
I mean, if I try and give you anything more than maybe 2 enemies to defeat at one time, you're probably going to get surrounded.
Yeah, so right, this is what I was thinking, and we tried to have a text conversation about it, but it really falls apart over text, because it's difficult to get across, like, well-reasoned points.
Yeah. So
what I'm thinking for the game is, if we start the character at a higher level...
I had another thought.
No, so this is the thing, right? Let me finish this point, right? Because I wanted to be a sorcerer...
Yeah.
And as you rightly pointed out, the moment something hits me, I'm just going to die.
Yeah.
Right? So what we do is we start the character at a higher level, say like 4. Mm-hmm. That means you have more... Because the way, like, making encounters and picking the monsters you're going to do, it works off... You take the party's total level, and that gives you, like, a number of points to spend on monsters in the encounter.
Yeah.
So if I'm a level 1 person, it's going to be some ridiculously low amount. You are going to be literally looking through and going, cool, I can make 1 dog fight you.
Yeah.
And that's like a medium challenge.
Yeah.
So if we start at a higher level, you can throw in more monsters. That means we get more exciting encounters. It also means we can make the character have a couple of levels in, like, being a warrior as well.
Right, can I put forward my suggestion as an alternative?
Yeah.
Obviously, now bearing in mind, this is someone that's very new to the game and has never mastered it before, so I don't really know how it works. But, could you, in theory, have mercenaries that you could hire to come with you?
You could, but then the issue becomes who controls that mercenary.
I will.
But then, see that, then you're just, but then, right, so one of the big issues, and they specifically talk about it in, like, the Dungeon Master's Guide, is letting the DM control effectively a player character.
Okay, so you control it.
They're like, yeah, but then I'm playing 2 characters and I don't want to do that.
Well, you'd be role-playing as one, and then just rolling for the other.
But then we're doing it just for the combat side.
Yeah, so essentially...
I know you said that's a huge part of D&D, but it's not.
If it's a mercenary, right, you could just be like, I'm hiring you to do what I tell you to do, so shut the fuck up and listen.
No, but this is one of the things this is why I don't understand. You think I'm a railroading DM who's like all making everyone do what he wants, but then you're saying so you just hire a mercenary. What if my guy doesn't want to hire a mercenary because he's like, I'm going to save the town?
Then he's probably going to get killed.
But then that's ridiculous. You've planned it for this, so
not
you're
at all.
railroading.
I've given you options, and it's going to be up to you if you wish to take those options or not.
That's not how it works, Liam. You don't. If you're the DM, you don't make options like that. You don't go, right, I'm going to make this next encounter super hard, so the only way that you can win is if you hire this mercenary.
No, you could roll really well and win as well.
No, see, this is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that we're going to do it, I'm going to die really quickly, you're going to be like, well, you didn't do this, and I'm going to be like, because that's not the point.
No, right, the way I'm thinking of approaching it is essentially giving you a blank slate, but having a lot of plans laid up for what you may or may not do. It could be something that you would overlook that could have helped, but you overlooked it. You could still do it without that, but having that might have made it easier. The
way you're looking at it is the old school Dungeon Master way of doing things, which was a very much like the DM is the enemy.
Yeah, that's how I want to be.
Which is not. That's not how you go into it. That's not what you should be doing. No, that doesn't work.
It will work. I'm going to be the enemy.
No, the reason it doesn't work is because that way you can just be like, a dragon attacks you.
Well, no, that's unfair.
No, but see, the whole point of it is the idea of D&D is that you sit together with your friends and you make a cool story.
Yeah, but I'm going to be sat with you.
Yeah, and we're going to make an awesome story, or you're going to be like, no, you didn't pick up on my stupid hint that's really obvious. And then I'm like, no, it isn't. And then all our listeners are like, Yeah, no, I didn't see that at all. And you'll be like, well, I explained it.
What I think is more likely is I'll be like, there's a signpost over there that might have good information for you. Be like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to do it all by myself. I'm the best. And then you'll die.
100% you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say there's a signpost that might have information for you.
Well,
that's not good. That's not good DMing, Liam.
I don't know what good DMing is.
That's all right. I'm going to help you.
I don't think you are. I think you're just going to be very critical.
I will, honestly.
Because the whole reason you've suggested doing this is to try and make a point. So you're going to do whatever you can to ensure that your point is made.
No, I honestly... No, you said this when we originally suggested it, and I promised you, I said, honestly, I won't go in and just try to derail the thing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Because I want to play D&D and be a character. I don't understand why you think I'd come in and ruin my chance at doing what I want to do.
Because more than that, you want to be right.
I really don't. Not in this case.
Well, we'll see. And hopefully our listeners will see when we do maybe a video as a little special one-off.
Woo! Well, it's maybe going to be a one-off. Maybe we'll do more, Liam.
It depends how well received it is.
Jack tries vegetables. Jack and Liam do some cooking.
Jack and Liam go to Ibiza.
Yep, we have plans.
Oh, trust. Once Nerd on Nerd starts taking off and we get a bit of money behind us, the things we're going to do for you guys... We're going to meet women. We're going to look at them.
Are we?
Yeah, we'll definitely look at them. We'll talk about talking to them. We'll eat food. We'll have new experiences and hopefully stories to tell.
Nerd news?
No?